Excited to have the two Ryans here. Thank you guys for joining. And we are talking about back to the basics. So I had the pleasure of having dinner with the two Ryans in Myrtle Beach, and it was Ryan Medlin's birthday. So we were celebrating, and also Ryan had one of my wonderful new assistants came from Ryan, a family friend of his. And so we all got together and enjoyed dinner in Myrtle Beach. But we were talking about back to the basics. And what does that mean for you as the seller? What does that mean for you as the buyer? And what does that mean for you as the agent? So take it away, boys. What does it mean? What does back to the basics mean to you guys?
Well, like for me, back to the basics means like really reaching out to your clients post closing and really working on our VIP list.
That's right.
We've all heard of the 10% rule. And, obviously within your database, and ideal is to convert 10% a year. But for example, if you have 1,000 people, your goal is 100 deals a year.
Yeah.
And it's basically, and I wrote down a few things about it. Basically from the day of closing to actually call them and congratulate them the day of closing. Call them 1 week after closing.
Yeah.
And then the 30 days after closing, just to see how everything is going. It's been 30 days since they moved in their new home. And then every 90 days, the ideal is for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
And, not to just call them for any reasons like, market's hot and, things like that, but actually give them some value. Like, for example, have you checked out a family trust?
Yeah.
Or how are things going with the insurance? That seems to be a really hot thing.
Insurance, yes.
Along the coast right now, or just different things like that. So
No, you're right, because a lot of insurance companies have gone belly up.
Right. So like right now we're working on our VIP list, and basically our VIP list is anyone who's used us, anyone who has referred us, or anyone who's gave us a review.
Yeah.
They're like our A+ people, and then we're also doing the quarterly parties just to try to get people in the door.
Yeah, absolutely. What's about giving back? Like I do a lot of the client parties, and every client that comes in is like, "Ah, this is why I love you." And it's really fun too when they start remembering each other, and you do it often enough, then they start looking forward to seeing their friends that they met. And becomes a good little community.
Yeah.
But you're
Yeah.
right, that is back to the basics. How can I serve you as my client, as my friend, as my family? And as real estate agents, we wear a lot of hats. Like
Right.
we have contractor list.
Yeah.
We've got groomers, we've got doctors. I mean, it's amazing that, well, especially me, right? Or y'all too, because people are moving in as a second home or as a retirement community. And they always call me to say, what dentist do you use? What doctor do you use? What attorney do you use? What groomer do you use? So I feel
Right.
like we have that outreach.
Absolutely. When you call them and you give them value of
That's exactly
whatever
right.
they need. Yeah.
That's exactly right. So Ryan, what does going back to the basics mean for you?
Well, I mean, I 100% agree with Ryan on that. I mean, it's really, we've been saying this for years. Everybody uses this, but one-stop shop is great, especially if people trust you. So if somebody has, even outside of real estate, a landscaper, roofer, I just sent a roofer out today to somebody, they know that you're in the business and you probably have somebody. So we do what's called a 4-point contact. We talked a little bit back in Myrtle Beach, but every 3 months, our assistant gives us each month and each week, like, here's your names to call. You need to call everybody you've ever worked with, and just make sure you don't miss them.
Yeah.
And people love to hear from us. They also want to know, which is a big thing we're seeing now, because the market has softened a little bit, is people want to know, what's my house worth? I mean, everybody wants to know when they're going to sell their house, but people, even when they're not selling the house, want to know, what is my home worth?
Absolutely.
All the time. So
I mean, I always check mine, don't you?
yeah.
And I think that's a great time. It's a great time of the year to call your past clients and your friends and your family and your network, your VIP, whatever you want to call them, your loved ones. You need to be calling them because it is a good time of the year, and the market is shifting a little bit and interest rates are affecting it. So everybody wants to know. You're right.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And especially if the rates do continue to go down, which they have been going down, but if they go down enough, say another 1%, we need to reach out to the people that have bought in the last year, is it getting to where they need to refinance? You know, a lot of
That's
the
right.
lenders might call it. So that's our job to do that as agents as well.
Oh, 100%. Keep you informed.
Yep.
Right. And I think that comes with experience. I also think that comes with after you've been doing it long enough and you start seeing, I mean, my clients become my best friends. Like I tell people, I'm like, you don't get me for the transaction. Unfortunately, you get me for the rest of your life because I'm here forever. Like I am your friend. Like you're going to be invited to my house at my Christmas party.
That's right. For sure. Agree with
But
that.
then, so what does that mean for, so for your sellers and your buyers, getting back to the basics to you guys means keeping them informed on what is happening.
Right.
Yeah. What does that mean for like agents, other agents out there? What does back to the basics mean for them?
I mean, I think basically just a regular follow up with the client, and even like just like to kind of touch on what Ryan was saying. It's always work on your vendor list.
Yep.
Like I mean, like just like what we do with our client. When we talk to them and we ask them, who do you know that's interested in buying or selling? But think about that if like with our vendor list, like let's just say we refer to a roofer. What Ryan was saying, and then 1 week later you call and say, hey, thank you so much for taking great care of Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Just curious, do you know anybody that's interested in buying and selling real estate?
That's
and get them working for you too. So it's just a good way to just keep building up your database and your the word I'm looking for, the people who's going to give you the most for your business.
Well, but absolutely. But even the vendors, I mean, they love you too, right? I mean, hell, I'm pretty sure my handyman, I kept him in business for the last 3 years. I mean, I figured up last year, I gave him like $150,000 worth of jobs.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, so he is, I just got 2 listings from him the other day because he goes in and fixes up a house and it's like, hey, Jennifer, I've got a client that is ready to list.
Absolutely.
So it works both ways. I agree. And then do you guys do like cold calling?
I do circle prospecting.
Okay, good. Right.
Yeah. And like mainly like for the neighborhood itself. But, we'll call and just, basically we'll just say, hey, we just sold, 4309 Katina Lane. It sold for $750,000. Just curious, do you happen to know anybody else that might be interested in buying or selling?
But you're doing a great job for your clients.
Absolutely. And I mean, we get a lot of referrals that way. So, and when we get off the phone, they say, no, I'm not interested or whatever. Okay, well, just out of curiosity, do you happen to know anybody else that might be interested in buying or selling? And then, it kind of grows from there. And then the other thing we try to do as far as building our database is, one of the services that we offer is, we keep the neighborhood informed of what's going on. Would you like us to add you to that list?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And then I say, okay, what's your email address? And then we'll add them to the database. And I think you were telling me the other day in Myrtle Beach, you have like what, 30,000?
31,000.
That is crazy. That is crazy.
How you doing,
Jennifer?
Well, it's hard to keep up with 31,000 people. I mean, they're obviously not my 31,000 VIP. I mean, let's be clear, I'm only one person, so that would be insane if I actually need 31,000. But 31,000 people that have come into our website over the past 17 years. So I have been doing this a long time too.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
And I'm always adding people, like you said, Ryan. I'm doing circle prospecting and meeting people at the grocery store. I mean, you get into real estate, and it's always funny when I'm training a new agent and they're like, how do I bring up the topic of real estate? And I really have to think back to that time because I've been doing it so long, just like you guys have, that I don't really know what to talk about if it's not real estate. Like this.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. I mean, we're not just in the real estate business; we're in the real people business.
Yeah, that's
right. The more people you have, it's just it's
more opportunities.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
But there's nothing more powerful than a phone call, though. Y'all know that. I've been doing this for 26 years, but the internet has changed everything, no question about it. But if you're not on the phone or texting is just as powerful, it seems like. But people want to hear from you. That's, I bought a car years ago, and the guy I bought the car from was just awesome. And he followed up with me for a year, not until he actually moved to another car company. But it was so impressive to me that this guy who, he didn't probably make too much on this car, because this is probably 15 years ago or more. Wow. I was so impressed by this guy constantly following up with me. I was like, if I ever buy a car again, or if I know anybody that's going to buy a car, he's the guy I'm sending it to. And that's what we're all about. We want to be the first for everything. If you have a question about it, but also if you're thinking about buying real estate, I've got somebody, and by the way, Myrtle Beach, Wilmington, North Carolina, the whole United States, we got you covered, you know?
See, and I think that is the power of the brand too. And I think that is one thing that I didn't know how powerful it was until several years ago when I started going to conferences and building up those people into my sphere and into my VIP list as well. Because you're right. I mean, I was calling somebody today. Let's be clear. He came up as an expired listing that I was calling. And when I called him, he said he did not own the house. He did not want to sell ever. And then as we started talking, he might want to sell in February. And then we start talking more. He tells me to mail him all my information, ask him for his address, and he's in New York. So I was able to call up one of my contacts in New York and say, hey, I need you to contact this gentleman and send him all your information because he's in your area. Obviously, I'm not licensed in New York.
Yeah.
But again, it's the power of the brand and knowing those people and having those connections. So you're absolutely right. We're more than just Wilmington or Myrtle Beach or Richmond. You're in our database. Call us. If you're moving anywhere, we've got people that we know and respect and trust.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you guys are great. And I'll say this because Ryan covers so far about an hour more south of the line, right, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you're about an hour north of the coastline. So 2.5 hour market, you guys have that market. So that's a huge, my cousin's working with you right now, Jennifer. So I mean, you guys do a great job and you have such a big market. So that's a big plus doing a RE/MAX agent in your marketplace.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, and I stay, it was funny because I went on a listing appointment yesterday and they were asking me where my exact divisions were. And I explained to them, that I go up to the South Carolina border, but I don't go into South Carolina because to me, I stay within my lane, right? I stay the areas that I know and that I know I could best represent you. But even like Jacksonville, North Carolina, that's an hour away from me. But I've only been to Jacksonville, North Carolina twice. But I know my friend Mandy is there. So, and I know she's a kick-ass agent. So if you're going there, I mean, so we really do coast to coast to coast everywhere have you covered. And it's amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. I even have agents in my own office ask me because I have such connections with you guys and all through it, who do you use in Jacksonville, Florida or Miami, Florida. So it's good to have a top-notch agent in that market that you've actually interviewed or met in person. And RE/MAX, obviously has that brand for sale.
Well, we do have a couple. I didn't even see, we had some people commenting. Let's see here. 20 people a day. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. There's Mark, and Colleen. Oh, I know. I am having major FOMO about not being in Atlantic City with everybody this week at Triple Play, but we can only do so much. And something you said triggered Ryan. I had 3 different people, like in the past 7 days, people I've never met before, real estate agents all over the United States that sent me messages and said, hey, I know that you're well connected. Who do you have in Arizona? Who do you have in Colorado? Who do you have? And it's always funny because, to be clear, I don't make any money off that, nor do I want to. I am in the people business. So quickly I'm like, hey, my friend Ryan is in Richmond, or the other Ryan is in Myrtle Beach, or Mark is in Colorado. And I just connect the people, which is fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, and I did. So I have to do a quick shout out to Mark Korros because my listing appointment yesterday was from his agent. So it was my first referral that came in from Mark. So thank you, Mark. It was a big shout out and it was a big win. So I'm super appreciative.
Yeah, he's an awesome realtor. I've sent some clients to him in Denver that hopefully will be buying if they transfer, but he's great. He's a great agent.
Mm-hmm. I agree. So I think our network is fabulous. And I think, and just getting back to basics, I see the need for the social media post, and that is part of what I'm doing here. I do recognize that. However, I did have an agent tell me that I needed to be doing 5 to 6 live Instagram posts a day. And my quick response to that is I am not an Instagram star. I am a real estate agent. I am a kick-ass real estate agent. And again, I want to stay within my lane and I'm going to do everything I need to do social media so that, I'm out there and to get my listings out there and do all that. However, at the end of the day, my job is to pick up the phone and help people, not make Instagram videos.
Yeah.
Although, to be clear, I just hired a videographer to take care of that for me.
I mean,
He's coming in every Wednesday, thank God.
all that stuff is super important. I know I'm old school. We've talked about this before, and it's super crucial. But the phone call is still the most important thing. You know, people, they want to hear from you. They want to talk to you. You can do, you know, social media is definitely a good way to get your name out there and be seen for sure. So there's no question you got to do that. But I think one of your questions before we came on here is what are newer agents or someone that's struggling in the business, what could they do? Social media is a big part of it. But I do think it always goes back to your sphere of influence. That's your circle of influence, whoever that is, friends, family, past clients, is where it's at. You have to go back to them, and you have to constantly stay in touch with them. It's where it's at.
Absolutely. And even if you move to a new area, because I get that a lot, like, hey, I don't know anybody, I don't have a sphere of influence, then guess what? Start making some. You need to get involved. Be involved in your church, or be involved in the Chamber of Commerce, or be whatever hobby, be involved in a surf club, whatever your hobby is. I just told my daughter that actually for the first 15 years of real estate, all of my, well, not all, but 90% of my business came from my children and people I met through them, and play groups, and being PTA president and doing all that. So now that I have a grandbaby, I was like, well, in 6 months, me and my grandbaby are taking some classes together. I'm starting to pimp her out, let's be clear. So that it helped me meet more people. Let's see here. I'm old school too. And Brian Buffini. Yeah, I love Brian Buffini. Trained and calls are key. Find a common ground. Agreed. It makes people feel good when you pick up the phone, you give them a call, and you say, "Hey, Ryan, how are you doing? I was thinking about you today."
Yeah.
I mean, it's just like, oh wow, you were thinking about me. I mean, it's a good feel.
Yeah. Another thing that kind of touch on what Ryan was saying about the phone is we're trying to get the systems in place, because right now, I mean, I'm sure you're all dealing with it too, but like our listings are lasting longer now. They're not selling. We're not running an auction anymore, bidding war on everything. So we're trying to, just pick up the phone the old fashioned way every Thursday between 1 and 5 o'clock. That's the day we let our clients know that we're going to be calling them.
Yeah.
That's if we're getting activity, we'll let you know. If we're not, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
But, and then, some of my clients, they'll say, well, you don't have to call me every week. I said, that's fine. I'll call you every other week between 1 and 5 o'clock. So we're just trying to go back the old fashioned way.
That's right.
Pick up the phone, call them, back to the basics.
That's exactly right. I love it. I love it. So in what, I'm sorry. It's been a long day. I just completely ruined my conclusion. My mind went completely dead. So in conclusion, what's your in conclusion? Help me out, guys. Pick up the phone, make the phone calls.
Yep.
I mean, I think
get to know people.
Yeah. I mean, we're in a people business. Nothing's changed for 26 years since I've been selling. People want to, they want to hear from you. I think one of the number one problems with a realtor today, or someone that's not successful or struggling, is that they're scared to call someone that bought a house 3 years ago. They want to hear from you.
Yes.
They really do want to hear from you.
Yes.
Yeah. So
it always makes me so crazy when I'm training a new agent or talking to a new agent and they give me a million excuses. And I'm like, hold on. Yeah. Why aren't you calling? Why? I don't really know what to say. Pick up the phone and say, hey, how are you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how our business gets better year after year after year. There's only 2 people out there, the ones you know and the ones you don't know.
Yeah, that's right. And the ones you don't know, you get to know.
Every year we know more people.
That's right. Yeah. I love it.
I had a client call me today. I got to say this just because I talked to her, but she called me and actually said she got a quote from a roofing contractor. I'm not kidding you, $40,000 for a roof. I've never even heard of that price before. So she asked for 2 more recommendations. Now the roof on her house is probably 15 to 20. So whoever she's talked to, wow. I've already saved her. I'm going to know it's going to be half of what she's already been quoted. So as a resource, we're huge in that. That's another reason we're so big even after the sale.
That's exactly right. Well, one thing you had said to Ryan when you were talking about your car salesman, I don't know if you guys have ever, and I don't even know if he's still around, but Rick DeLuca was coach program that I probably did my first year, 2 years in real estate. But he was talking about his dad was a car salesman and owned a car dealership. And he had, I mean, this was a long time ago, obviously, but he had note cards with all his clients' information, and it was in a shoebox. Now he had like 3 shoeboxes or 4 shoeboxes. But every night when he got home from work, he went through the shoebox and he picked 4 people. And he called those 4 people just to check in, just to see how they were doing, see where they were, and just to touch base. Wrote his little notes, put them at the back of the shoebox. So he kind of went through his people, but he ended up being one of the largest. I mean, again, this was years ago, but like one of the largest car dealerships with all referral business because he took time to make those calls every day.
Yeah. And we're doing the same thing today, but we have much better systems to allow.
That's exactly. We don't have to do the note cards and the shoe boxes. You're right. We have better follow-up systems, which means we should be doing it better, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. Always better.
Yep. Well, I love it, guys. And we can conclude. I've got dinner plans at 5:30, so.
Awesome.
Running to my next one, but love you guys and thank y'all. And Ryan, I hope you had a happy birthday.
Thank you. It was great seeing you guys last week.
That was really fun. I know we should do it more often.
Yep. Be down in January, Ryan.
Okay, yes, that's my birthday and Ryan's birthday.
That's right.
At Ryan's birthday.
Yep.
So we'll celebrate.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't
wait. Thanks
wait.
again for the invite, Jeffrey. Y'all have a good week.
Absolutely. Good night,
Have a
guys.
good week.
Yeah. Bye.